A White House member says a big second stimulus package is coming. But who said it and what will be involved? Hey everybody, this is LALATE for a second stimulus and stimulus package update for today, our first of three, with exciting, great news coming directly from the White House just within the last 24 hours. We're delivering three stimulus check updates today. This one about details of what's going to be in that stimulus package. Second, new lending instruments being proposed in the second stimulus package. And later today, really great news about PUA and UI. We'll be answering your questions as always. But let's get right to this stimulus package update. Really great news. Words out of the White House within the last 24 hours that a second stimulus package and stimulus program will be coming to all U.S. citizens. And who said it? The President of the United States. When asked in an interview just hours ago by Scripps reporter Joe St. George whether another cash payment or check payment would be coming to the American citizen, the President of the United States says, yes, we are, and repeats it again, we are. This is incredible, great news. He continued, President Trump, we will be doing another stimulus package. It will be very good, and it'll be very generous, the president said. This is really great news. So a lot of people have been wondering about what would a second stimulus package include and what are the amounts. And no one really thinks $1,200 is generous. $1,200 as a second stimulus check is not generous. The president did not give a number, but it signaled really his mindset that his second stimulus package would be generous for the American citizen. So how generous would it be? Let's recap. Currently still among discussions is a $2,000 check every single month for 6 months, and perhaps even retroactively. A lot of viewers have been asking me in the last 24 hours, until unemployment numbers improve. Let's recap what happened to that $2,000 program. Well, when the stimulus package was being debated in the House, before the HEROES Act was approved, there was considerations for multiple checks, $2,000 checks every 6 months, a minimum of 6 months, until unemployment rates improved in the United States. By the time the HEROES Act was finalized and sent to the Senate, that was gone. It was reduced to a single $1,200 stimulus check. When it landed in the Senate, initially Mitch McConnell said, no way, no how, we are going to do a $1 trillion stimulus package. Let me tell you what's really great news about the president's comments today. These comments are consistent with his comments and his administration's comments in the last 7 days. Why? The following. The Democrat proposal, the HEROES bill, is a $3 trillion plan. The Republicans, we're not sure how many people are supporting Mitch McConnell at the moment. Mitch McConnell's plan is a $1 trillion program. But the White House wants it right in between $2 trillion. What's really great about that is that $2 trillion is exactly what the CARES Act gave you. But there's potentially even more money for the U.S. citizen. Why? Because even though later today we're going to be detailing a second stimulus check, a second video on the second stimulus check, in which people are talking about extending PPP, if PPP is not extended, that means that of that $2 trillion, more money will be coming to you, the U.S. citizen. All indications suggest that the White House wants to give you a lot more than $1,200. That's a single check. Viewers of this channel have consistently said, and I've said as well, that multiple checks are needed. And let's back this up. If you recall, back before the CARES Act was approved, both Republicans and Democrats wanted to give you multiple checks. The collective discourse, the collective communications at the time among members of Congress were, we need to give American citizens multiple checks. But you know what? We'll just do one check for now and we'll get to the other check shortly thereafter. Well, whether it was just laziness by members of Congress or bad scheduling, they never got to that second check. And so what you ultimately received was a single check for the pandemic's impact upon you for the month of March. Well, you've never been paid for the month of April. You've never been paid for the month of May. You're sitting in the month of June, and you're probably not going to get paid by that for the month of July. Why? Because members of Congress are not coming back to session until approximately July 20th. As this channel detailed yesterday, the second stimulus package should heat up late July. That is the first item of business when members of Congress come back in session. And when would that second stimulus check get approved? This channel is reporting by August 8th. Why? That is the final day of the congressional schedule for members of Congress working until they take yet another vacation. Yeah, I don't schedule their vacations, but I certainly report them. And there we go. This comments by the White House about this generous, I just butchered that, genuine stimulus package are consistent with every single other member of his economic team, whether it's Steve Mnuchin, Pete Navarro, Kellyanne Conway, or Larry Kudlow. They've all said the stimulus package will be genuine and it'll put money in the hands of American citizens, irrespective of whether you are employed or unemployed now or when those checks are delivered. So a lot of viewers are asking, hey, will I get a check if I'm on Social Security? Yes. Will I get a check if I'm on disability? Yes. Will I get a check if I'm employed? Yes. Will I get a check if I'm unemployed? Yes. The second stimulus package programs include a lot of things, but the check or checks, which is often the simplistic way of referring to it, comes to everyone. Now, as you know, this channel details all the parts of the second stimulus package. There's more than just the check or checks. There's also other money that could be coming to you. Later today, we're talking about PUA and UI, which can come to you as in more money after July as well. That is on top of the stimulus checks. So what did everyone else in the White House say in the last 24 hours? Well, Steve Mnuchin says we're going to look at it seriously, and what we want to do is put more direct money to stimulate the economy. Steve Mnuchin is an economist. He understands that the way you stimulate the economy is put money into your hands. It's put in your hands so you go and spend the money. That is not the only person who said it. Senior White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow, a former CNBC anchor, said the same thing on Fox Business's Stuart Varney show within the last 24 hours. I think the tax rebates or the direct mail checks are on the table. These are all pre-decisional. There's a lot of discussions going on. Probably we would want to target those folks who lost their jobs and are most in need. There's a speculation on my part, but that's where I think it's going. Really great news. When we're doing a second stimulus check and stimulus package, we are focusing on certain economic data and certain health data. One, we're looking at unemployment rates. 2, we're looking on consumer spending. 3, we're looking at number of COVID cases, because if you contract COVID, you are unemployed. So ultimately what happens is that if you are unemployed, you can't work and you need relief. So those are the data. Here's data that is really not moving the microcosm of the second stimulus check debate. Home sales. Home sales are way up in the last 24 days. Sales of homes have not yet under construction are rising given capacity limitations in the building industry, says Robert Diaz, a chief economist at the National Association of Home Builders. So home numbers are way up. They're showing their highest growth in many, many months. But even if those numbers were not up, those wouldn't be what's pushing the second stimulus check debate. The rapid improvement in sales of new homes also reflects a change in consumer preferences, with buyers showing newfound purchase for cleaner, new live-in homes and long-lasting term and durability, says Matthew Spearman, economist at Zillow. But what's interesting with the home numbers is consumer confidence. And ultimately, consumer confidence is what Steve Mnuchin wants to get up. And he gets that up by putting money in your pocket. Ultimately, if you're watching this video and you are unemployed and certainly not buying a house, you're simply trying to survive from day to day, that is your concern. Steve Mnuchin has you in his mind. I have you in your mind, in my mind as well. But ultimately, entire consumer confidence is what spawns employment. The CDC is also under fire within the last 24 hours as well. The White House has announced a massive overhaul at the CDC to fix issues about pandemic reporting. The audit would likely highlight several failures in the inability to deploy work testing. And this is sort of interesting because ultimately the second stimulus package depends upon, as I said, COVID number cases. How many cases are there? When are they reporting? How are they reporting? Along with consumer spending, along with unemployment. But bottom line, this is really great news. The White House, whether it's President Trump, Steve Mnuchin, Kellyanne Conway, Larry Kudlow, Pete Navarro, who I forgot to mention, they all say a second stimulus package is coming and it's going to be very, very generous for all American citizens, whether you're employed or unemployed. So here we get to it. How much would it be? Well, at this point, no one is thinking about $1,200. No one really thinks that $1,200 is going to cut it. Everyone's thinking of multiple checks. Everyone's thinking about $2,000 checks. And people want to ensure that you have jobs. So ultimately, it may be a mixture. It may be a mixture of more checks and giving you jobs. But what are your comments? Let's go over some of them from yesterday, 35 of them. We do need to call and get this stimulus debate off the floor and into our pockets. Very well said, BL. Cheryl, people need the money now. We're behind on our light bill and car and rent payments. Absolutely. Very well said. I mean, it's disgraceful that members of Congress have not gotten you these checks and have gone on vacation. Phil Derrick, let's start deliberating for 30 days when the American people are now suffering. Bruce, how many vacations does Congress and Senate receive? Too many. If you're just joining this channel, thank you for joining us, and like and subscribe as well. We've been really, ranting on members of Congress. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. You just take too many vacations. Here are the American people that are sort of struggling to survive, can't make rent, can't make utilities, can't pay the bills, can't put food on the table. And there's members of Congress. What are they doing? They're going on vacation. They're going on vacation with a nice fat pension. And guess what? They're not done with their vacations because come August, they're ready to take another vacation. Austin, I'm in the military and I also work for Uber and Instacart as self-employed. Would I qualify for PUA? Yes. So watch our PUA and UI video tonight. We're going to go over it. A lot of great praises for yesterday's video. Thank you so much. We tried to really explain PUA because a lot of people have gotten confused and thinking the $600 of PUA. It's not. Just Cruising Mom, they get holiday and people suffer. Yes. I mean, in what land do elected officials get lots of vacations while Americans that voted them in suffer? Please vote them out. Truth, thankful, and blessed. Nicest shirt on you yet. Thank you for all the info. Which shirt was yesterday? I can't recall. It was the blue one. Well, thank you so much. No, it was the gray one. Interceptor, hey LA, thank you for the information. Thank you, Interceptor. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for the viewers who donated to this channel in the last 24 hours. It's been very, very kind of you. Russell, yes, sorry about yesterday's audio problems. It won't happen again. Sorry about that. When you do, we're coming up on our 2-month anniversary this week on the 24th, and we've done 5 videos every single day since in 2 months. Boy, so we're allowed one little mistake here and there, so sorry about that. Shan's Enlightenment. Did you say they want to increase UI and PUA? Catch our video on it, our 3rd one today. We will go over that. Bob Gabriel. $2,000 per month for 6 months will never fly. I think it will fly. You know why? If you watch our PUA and UI video, people are getting $8,000 under PUA and UI now, so $6,000 is not unusual. Bob Gabriel, best channel ever. Well, thank you. Anaja. Don't like the drums in the middle. I know, that was the audio problem. Maria Hannock. Trump said on his interview today there's going to be another stimulus and said it would be very generous and they would be working in a couple of weeks. Yes, yeah. I should have started with your comment. I could have had you, do my opening lead-in, Marie. Thank you so much. Bob Gabriel, you're 100% right, LA. $1,200 won't cut it. Remember on the first CARES Act, 10 to 12% of the $2 trillion went to the people. It's very well said. If you recall, the CARES Act, the very first stimulus package, a finite amount of money went to the American public. So when the CARES Act, the first one approved, the first stimulus package was approved, what we originally called number 1, it was $2 trillion. Okay, how much of that $2 trillion went to you? Very little. As Bob says, it's about 2 to 12%. Well, if we get out of that second stimulus package coming up in July. Get out of it, PPP. Get out of it, all this stuff for Fortune 500 companies wanting $5 million and $500,000 every 10 seconds. If we get that out, there'd be so much more money left for the American consumer, which is really what we need, because those companies have every ability to get money and debt from every corner of the world. When you're a publicly traded company, you can get money and debt everywhere. American people can't get debt. They can't go get loans. They can't go to the bank and, hey, can you give me a check? Just a free check? No, they can't do it. That's why all that has to be out of the second stimulus package with more money for you. Gina, $2,000 direct to the people. Otherwise, look at what SBA has done. Brenda, yes, Trump should take care of all of us. America, make us great again. Very well said. If you have questions about today's second stimulus check video, drop them in the comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up today, 2 other stimulus package updates. First, discussions about extending PPP. And finally, your questions about PUA and UI answered. Later today as well, 2 EIDL videos. As always, stay at LA for more.